So there's this video that's been making the rounds online, and wow, it makes some absolutely massive claims about a hidden treasure trove of resources in Australia. In this explainer, we're just going to break down exactly what that video claims, point by point, straight from the source itself.
Right from the jump, the speaker in the video sets a pretty dramatic tone with this single line. I mean, it's designed to grab your attention, right? It frames the whole discussion around a discovery so huge, he argues, it could literally change global power dynamics. So, what's the core of the argument here? Well, it all revolves around this gigantic, completely untapped oil reserve that the speaker claims is worth an almost unbelievable 60 trillion Australian dollars. Let's dig into how he even gets to a number like that.
Okay, to understand a $60 trillion valuation, we first need to get a handle on the sheer amount of oil he's talking about. And the speaker in the video, he lays out some very, very specific numbers to build his case. According to him, studies from way back in 2013 and 2014 suggested that South Australia is sitting on top of over 200 billion barrels of shale oil. Now, let's be super clear. A find of that size wouldn't just be a minor discovery, it would be world-changing. Often, these kinds of initial estimates are talking about the total geological resource, everything that might be in the ground, which understandably gets people really, really excited about the potential.
So then he does the math on its value. He mentions that those early projections from 2013 and 2014 put the value at around 20 trillion US dollars. He suggests that value has probably doubled by now, and once you convert that to Australian dollars, well, that's how he gets to this absolutely eye-watering figure, $60 trillion just waiting there in the ground. You know, a number like 200 billion barrels is kind of hard to wrap your head around on its own. So to put it in perspective for us, the speaker directly compares this potential Australian reserve to the world's current energy superpowers. And this chart really shows you what he's talking about. If that claim of over 200 billion barrels is accurate, it would rocket Australia into third place in the world for oil reserves, right behind Venezuela and Saudi Arabia. I mean, that would instantly make the country a dominant player on the global energy stage. So once he's laid out just how massive this claim is, the video completely shifts gears. It moves from what is supposedly there to why it all matters. The speaker starts to build this really urgent case for why he believes Australia has to extract this oil and do it immediately. He argues this isn't just about getting rich. For him, it's about national survival and prosperity. The key points are all about achieving energy independence, protecting the nation from global supply shocks, wiping out the country's $1 trillion debt, and, maybe most importantly, directly improving the lives of everyday Australians. And to really hammer home that national security argument, the speaker claims that Australia currently imports 80% of its oil. He paints this as a huge vulnerability, basically saying that an enemy would only need to cut off shipping routes to bring the entire country to its knees, which is a powerful point and one that often depends on whether you're talking about raw crude oil or refined fuels. And then, to really bring the economic argument home for the average person, he gives this one powerful, really tangible example. He claims that if Australia were to tap into this reserve, the price of petrol could plummet to around 30 cents a liter. I mean, that would fundamentally change the cost of living for everyone. This quote, it really captures the passion behind his whole argument. In his mind, this isn't just another resource. It's a golden ticket to a level of wealth that would completely transform the nation. He says it would turn Australia into the Saudi Arabia of the Southern Hemisphere. So if this immense wealth is just sitting there, the obvious question is, right, why isn't it being extracted? Well, the speaker presents a very clear villain in his story. A big ideological clash over what Australia's future should even look like. He frames the entire debate as a choice between two competing paths. On one side, you have what he calls reality, a future powered by the nation's natural resources, coal, gas, and all this untapped oil. And on the other side is what he labels the fantasy sector, which is the government's focus on green energy, something he dismisses as just being based on hopes and dreams. To strengthen his point, he uses the United States as a direct comparison. He points out that the U.S. is actively extracting its own shale oil reserves, which leads him to ask, why on earth is Australia, with supposedly similar resources, choosing not to do the same thing? Okay, so after laying out the sheer scale of the resource, making the case for why it's a necessity, and describing the ideological battle he believes is stopping it all,
The speaker arrives at a very simple and very direct conclusion.
This is his final call to action. It's a memorable, punchy slogan that really encapsulates his entire message. Australia must use its natural resources to secure its future, and it needs to act now.
And the video leaves the viewer with this one last question. After laying out all these claims of world-changing wealth and massive national security implications, the speaker asks, why isn't a discovery of this supposed magnitude a major topic of conversation? Why isn't everyone talking about this? And that's the final thought he wants you to consider.